Gizzu 300 watt-hours and 500 watt-hour portable power stations distributed by Syntec Distribution are being recalled due to reported overheating, presenting a fire hazard and possible combustion while charging. The National Consumer Commission spokesperson, Prudence Moilwa, urged people in possession of these portable power stations to immediately stop using them and return them to the supplier. And Moilwa urged consumers to look for the product description to determine whether the products in their possession form part of the recall. Well, for more on this, we now speak to Prudence Moilwa, Head of Enforcement at the National Consumer Commission. Prudence, appreciate your time and thank you for coming into studio. Now, who is ultimately responsible for ensuring that products are safe for consumers to use? Is it the manufacturer, the distributor, or the consumer themselves?
I would say the manufacturer, the distributor, as well as the suppliers. Everybody in the supply chain has to ensure that the products that they supply to consumers are safe.
Now, do you reckon companies should be required to conduct more rigorous tests? I mean, or maybe the first port of call for us is to go back to these particular units and get some background onto what's actually transpired. How was it discovered that they had a problem?
Correct. Actually, the National Consumer Commission had a meeting with Syntec yesterday. The meeting was precisely to get a background as to exactly what it is that happened to cause this problem. They did explain to us that they import these products from China and that they have systems in place where they do testing of the product before it goes to the market. Now, what seems to have happened is that there was a problem in the manufacturing of the products. What they have said to the Commission is that after COVID, it looks like there were some, shoddy work being done after people came back to work. But I think as the Commission, our concern was around the failure in the processes in order for them to be able to pick up these products that were not safe for distribution and even to be sold in South Africa. So we had that discussion with them, and they have assured us that they've actually put in place measures of ensuring that from now on, they will be able to do more rigorous testing before the products are brought into the market. So we are still watching the space as the Commission. As you are aware, the recall only started on the 13th. So we will be working closely with them to ensure that they keep us updated with regard to the recall itself. They've assured the Commission that only 3,500 units are affected by the recall. It's a specific batch that they were able to isolate and say, this is the batch that has been affected by this product failure. So
who raised the alarm? Was there an incident that resulted in them then having to investigate and discovering that the 3,500 of this batch were faulty?
Yes, the consumers themselves. And I need to also explain this, that it is of concern to us that it was actually picked up by consumers. Usually when there is a product failure, what happens is that it is able to be picked up in the supply chain. But in this regard, incidents had happened where consumers experienced the overheating of the product. And even though the explosion or even the fire had not been caused, it is certainly a risk that it could have happened. So in our discussions with them, we then did say to them that they need to put in place systems to make sure that this does not happen again. And we also urged them to keep an eye on the other batches that they are saying have not been affected. So what we then did yesterday, we interrogated their systems for feedback, where right now they informed the Commission that about 1,500 affected consumers have actually been in contact with them, where the exchanges and the refunds are underway. But so far, we are still watching the space, because in the past we have had incidents where companies have assured us that it's a specific batch, and then we find out that actually the problem is wider than that. So far, as the Commission, we are watching the space. We urge consumers to also just, if they are using the Gizzu products, even if it's not the one that is affected, to please just observe in their usage of the product if there are any challenges and report them to the Commission.
Now let's talk about liability, because obviously if I have a Gizzu unit or any unit, it catches fire, damages part of my property, or burns the floor, for instance,
yes.
Who is liable, and what is the process of making that person or that company pay?
Yes. When it's a product failure, like in this regard, where there hasn't really been damage to property, in terms of the Consumer Protection Act, the refunds or replacement are the appropriate recourses that the CPA or the Consumer Protection Act provides for. And it also goes further with regard to liability in terms of the damage. The Act is very clear that if any damage is caused by the products that have been sold by a supplier, they are ultimately responsible. So they will be responsible for the damages as well.
Now, what you mentioned is that these products are not manufactured locally, but they're imported from China. And then there was a certain amount of shoddy work that would have occurred.
Yeah.
Whose obligation is it to monitor imports of products that are going into consumer households and ensure that they don't pose a threat or danger to the consumers? I mean, all too often we hear about many homes that are burnt in various places because of fires that have been caused because of electrical faults and so on. Is that obligation with the importer? Does the importer make a submission to a body that we're importing this product? Have a look at it. Are you happy with it? It is passed for usage in South Africa.
Yes. There is actually the National Regulator for Compulsory Standards that is responsible for import of especially products like these ones, like the electrical ones. Unfortunately, even in this regard, they did assure the Commission that they had gone through the testing processes or the standards for testing processes in terms of what the NRCS has put through. But the product failure, as they informed the Commission, could only be picked up after the product had been charged or used about 60 rounds. So it would have sort of not been able to be picked up at that end, but that is why we were saying that their testing needs to be improved as well. Even if there are not standards in South Africa specifically for testing after use or during use, there is international standards that we might want to look at to see why it's not happening in other countries.
Okay, finally, and I suppose a word from you to the consumers when they're buying electrical gadgets. What are the things that they need to look out for in order to be able to protect themselves?
Yeah, we do know that consumers are now looking for alternative means of energy or energy saving with the issue of load shedding upon us. We just ask consumers to please look at the reviews online of products that they're buying. Look at the reviews. Sometimes I think what it also assists is that there would be international reviews of specific products, even if they are not coming to South Africa, for them to satisfy themselves that those products are safe. And I think also with this kind of product, it is very important to make sure that the safe use of this product be followed. The company, Syntec, yesterday promised us that they will start a drive to also start informing consumers about the safe use of this type of product, even if it's not a product failure. It is very important for South African consumers to learn how to use this product safe, not just this one, but all electrical products or even energy-saving devices that they would be using, to try and get as much information about the safe use of the product as much as possible.
Prudence, I certainly appreciate your time this afternoon. We're speaking to Prudence Moilwa.